Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Angel and Eric.
Mimi.
A lot of teen angst.
We are back talking about The Last Blast 2000 from Days of Our Lives. We're getting closer to the end. People are getting asked to go. Bets are being lost or won.
Can't keep track.
Nope.
So I'll roll the credits and we'll get into it. Okay, so I was on all my nostalgia feels because this is when I started watching. Because I remember Belle's pink dress, and I'm like, "That's the dress." I remember like being like, "Oh, I love that dress on her." It's so
Pink
cute.
dress. I would never wear it, even as a teen. For reasons that are obvious to the both of you. In person.
Mimi cracked me up in these clips. So angry.
She's very shouty, and I don't like
I
that.
thought he was yelling at some point.
That's why I was laughing at her the whole time. I was laughing at her the whole time. She just goes off. I'm like, girl, get it under control.
That was funny because I was listening to it at work and I had my earpiece and I was like, I was like doing my, doing my work thing, and I was thinking to myself, everybody's just so loud in this episode.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I was like, Jan's gonna yell.
So we had Belle confront Mimi about possibly being on drugs because Chloe planted that seed that she thinks Mimi's on drugs.
How could you think I'm on drugs? Oh my god!
Not any specific drug, just drugs.
Drugs.
All the drugs.
I would never. You're my best friend.
We were friends since kindergarten, I think it was. I don't know.
That's how I know I'm getting old, because
it.
young me would have ate all that up and been like, "This is so good," and now I'm just like, "Shut up."
So loud. If I didn't have my earbud in, I wouldn't have watched it.
She's basically like, "Now you believe Chloe because that's your new best friend. Forget about me."
Like, yeah, and then you guys are cool. Like what, 20 years later?
Right. So
for Mimi.
Mimi runs off and she runs into these two guys who I can't tell if they want her to sell drugs or prostitute herself. I know these aren't the two guys that were Chad Brannon last time. It's two different guys.
Yeah.
One of the guys, though, played Steve's half-brother on 90210 with Andy Spelling.
Okay.
I remember that episode. I just watched it recently because it had the Tara stuff with
yeah, I think
the episode with Tara.
I think he was on for season 6 and 7. I think he recurred, and then they just dropped him, and it was just Randy Spelling for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not really clear what they want her to do, because sometimes it sounds like they want her to sell drugs, and then other times the way they look at her, it looks like they want to pimp her out, and I'm not really sure. Chloe's still giving Philip the cold shoulder. He finds her outside, crying because she found a dead bird. And he helps her bury the bird. They have a nice moment. She's still kind of twitchy around him. They fight. She kind of insults him a few things. He basically is just like, "I don't understand why you wear all black." And she's like, "People are different." She's like, "There's a reason why there's different colors in the rainbow." He's like, "Yeah, and you're not wearing any of them." And then he rips her glasses off. He's like, "Except here." And then he's like, "Your eyes are so beautiful." He can never resist her eyes. It's like, I remember him always mentioning her eyes throughout their whole relationship. He's just like a sucker for her eyes.
He loves her eyes. Look, Nadia Bjorlin is a beautiful woman. Very stunning woman. And then they just have her wearing all black.
Yeah, and they frizz her hair. They frizz her hair out. They put pale makeup on her, and they throw black glasses on her. They're like, "Yeah, you're ugly."
And I'm wondering if they were trying
to didn't help make her look ugly.
No, I wonder if they were just trying to do a "She's All That."
Probably.
For sure. That's exactly.
She's All That.
That feels She's All That. Yeah.
It's the whole Cinderella. She's All That.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Angsty crap that was all over the place back in 1999.
Right.
I'm surprised they didn't have "There She Goes."
And isn't it? And I feel like isn't it once she gets that red dress or whatever, then she's normal and clothes after that. She doesn't go back to her dowdy look.
Yes. She still wears her glasses though, even though she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
That's like her security blanket.
Yeah.
So Philip basically makes Chloe promise that she'll go to the last blast if somebody like asks her, and she's like, "Whatever, get out of my face. I don't want to talk to you." Meanwhile, Belle is also pushing the dance on Chloe, and every time they're in Salem Place, I'm like, I just want Salem Place back. I hate the Horton.
I know. Oh my gosh.
The Horton Town Square looks like a set. Salem Place looks like real life.
Yes, it feels like it just. I wonder where they filmed Salem Place. Was it like?
I think it was the
like,
parking lot, honestly, at Burbank.
Lot?
Yeah, I think it was outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like back in the day, you could take a tour of the studio and you would see them like shooting. So Chloe's just like, yeah, fine, whatever. And Belle keeps mentioning we're all gonna go as a group. I'm like, what group? I'm like, we don't know anybody else.
We're all gonna go as a group. Okay, yeah,
Mimi's
sure.
on drugs. Jan and Jason
we're
are
gonna
together.
go with Mimi. We're gonna go with Belle. We're gonna go with Chloe. We're gonna go with Jan. We're gonna go with Jason. We're gonna go with Sean. We're gonna go with like everybody. Every one of these people do not get along,
Right?
like with each other.
And Belle's like, it's gonna be great. Yeah. So the only thing that all these people have in common is they like Belle. None of them like Chloe.
They like Belle.
And Chloe's like, says, well, what if you get asked? She's like, then you can still go with the group. And Chloe's like, yeah, nah. She's like, sure. But she's like, and then when Belle's not, because they talk to themselves. When Belle walks off, she's like, if Belle gets a date, I'm gonna catch the flu and I'm not going to the dance.
They have a lot of like that inner monologue.
Yeah, the inner monologue that's outside.
One of Mimi's freakouts. She says, "I have Chloe follow me all over town, the creep." She kills me.
So the video game tournament finally comes to an end. Everybody's shouting and cheering, and Belle's just like, oh, also, little detail. I know it doesn't matter. But Belle was like, let's go to .com and get iced teas. She did not have an iced tea. She had a full-on milkshake. I mean, I guess it could be argued she changed her mind when she got there, but like, it just bothered me that she said iced tea and she had a milkshake.
Did they have that .com music playing again?
Yeah.
That played on the website? I didn't see if it's on the Internet Archive.
Anyway, so the tournament's over and Philip lost. And he's trying to get out of it. He's like, how about a rematch? Best 2 out of 3. And Sean's like, no. He's like, the winner offers the rematch, and I'm good. I'm done with the video games. Also, sign of the times. Belle says to Greta, I guess, video games are so boring or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, this is before geek culture became popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Philip has to ask Chloe to the dance in front of everybody, but he makes Jan and Jason kind of go away, and they're like, make sure you speak loud enough for everybody to hear. And actually, before he goes over there, you keep seeing Philip and Chloe just kind of staring at each other for like a minute. I'm like, this is so awkward. We're just gonna stare.
Seriously.
But he ends up going over there. And he talks about all the nice moments they've had, and he asks her if she's okay after the dead bird incident. And then he asks her to be his date to the dance. And Belle like almost like spits out her milkshake.
I love that. I had to rewind that and look at it again.
And Chloe just like awkwardly is staring at him for like 30 seconds, and then she like snaps out of it, and she's like, not on your life. And Belle's like, you do not have your final answer yet, and she like pulls Chloe to the side.
Yeah.
And so she's basically just trying to work on Chloe, get her to say yes. She's like, when Philip Kiriakis asks you out, you do not say no. He's a sweet guy. I'm like, okay. And she even mentions, she's like, what's up with the dead bird? She's like, what's that about? So then when she tells us, she's like, see, he's a sweet guy.
So funny.
So then Philip ends up walking around with the group, and he's like, so what's gonna be? You gonna go or not? And she says yes, begrudgingly, it seems. And everybody's like picking on Philip. They're like, oh, look at you, got a little date. And then Chloe goes outside.com, and she's like low key excited. She's like, I'm going to the dance.
Didn't Sean want to actually ask her, or wasn't he supposed to?
No.
No?
If he lost the bet, he was. But he was saying, because he's friends with Chloe. So he's like, if I
Right.
lost and had to ask her, that wouldn't be a punishment for me. Like, I would just go with her. Like,
Right, right.
but that was pretty much it.
Jen brings up the movie Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie. We
Yeah.
all know where that's gonna go.
And
I
I
do.
feel like it's probably the acting. She probably wasn't comfortable acting just yet. But the way she was like, oh, she's like, it would be funny if it was like art imitating life or life imitating art. You get it. Like, it was just the way it came off. Like, I guess we're supposed to be like, that's her planning it, but it was just so like cardboard. I was just like, you could have did better there.
I'm going to just throw this out there. This is not my favorite Jan.
Oh, see, I don't hate her because it just reminds me of like my childhood. So I'm just like,
yeah,
oh,
but
the
this,
original
yeah,
Jan.
but it does bring back like the nostalgia feels and everything like that. Like this is the Jan that was there for most of the time, but this is not my favorite Jan. It's actually the second one who's the adult Jan. So
Right.
Heather Lindell.
Mm-hmm. And then this Jan is Heather Olsen or
Mhm.
Heather Lauren Olsen.
Who I was surprised when they brought back and they fired her and recasted her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because they were just like, she's not going to be able to do the crazy that we need.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I don't think she could have handled it either.
Yeah, but you can hire.
Although
yeah,
I think she
hire
is,
Early
I think she
Raymer.
is the one that threw the radio in the tub to kill Victor.
Yeah, that was
She
the
did
Jan.
do that.
Did she?
That was Heather Olsen who did that.
Yeah,
Because Heather
I feel
Lindell
like they recasted her right after that.
they did, because then the Cage storyline started.
The
Yeah,
Cage
yeah.
storyline. Yeah, because Heather Lindell did the Cage storyline. That was when Charity Raymer came in.
Ugh.
Yeah, because that was like the cat. That was like I'm not a cat. I don't care about your cat.
That's around the time I tuned out, because I think Alice Horton died in March and Heather Lindell came in April, and at that point I was kind of like, I was really upset that they killed Alice. And so I was watching, but it was like I would watch like a random episode here and there, and then I was just kind of like done. And then I tuned in because Chloe, it was the Olympics that summer, and Chloe came back for them to like have the car accident where she gets scarred.
Mm-hmm.
So I tuned in for that. I think that may have been the cliffhanger before the Olympics.
Yeah.
You don't have those anymore.
Yeah, because now we're on Peacock.
Yeah.
So during Mimi and Chloe, they were having kind of a altercation. Chloe mentions the Day of Compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I remember that used to happen in the summer, but now we looked it up. It happens in November of this year.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that
right
too.
here. Oh, I'm not gonna show my phone, but
those are right here.
And Mimi's just like shouting, like, "What are you talking about, you freak?"
You freak. So remember that, like, specifically NBC shows would do like the World Day of Compassion. Like I remember Sunset Beach did it, but not huge. It wasn't huge. It was like a little thing where, like, I remember it involved Meg's sister.
Okay.
I remember it involved Meg's sister, and I forgot who was in the hospital at the time. It wasn't Titus, it was somebody else. But they were showing like babies with AIDS and stuff like that, and like, oh, this baby had AIDS. But I forgot what Days did. I think Days might have did something aside from that, dropping that reference.
I think they did. They did do something. I can't remember what it was either. No, we got to see Roman bring a sandwich to a cop.
Yeah, it's such a random
that's
scene.
so random.
I feel like because they showed Mimi at the end of that scene, they should have just had him throwing the sandwich away and having Mimi go through the garbage to get the sandwich.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it was, yeah, that wasn't played well. When the pimp / drug dealers were like, "You better not say anything because we know where you live," I'm like, "Do you know where you live? Because we don't know where she lives."
I don't know where she lives. How would I know where she lives? She could be living in the cardboard box of the Salem Park, and we wouldn't know.
Yeah, right.
So I guess next time, hopefully, we'll get to the dance finally. I don't know. Days likes to like extend things and make like a week of getting ready.
Yeah, because when they had their prom,
Yeah.
you saw a
Well-
poster at the beginning of like I think it was like the beginning of May, and then the dancing happens at the end of June.
Yeah.
They might even do like a week of them dress shopping and then a week of them getting ready before they
Oh,
actually make
that's
the
the one I'm thinking of, where it has Christina Aguilera in it.
No,
Christina
I know what you're
Aguilera song,
talking
it's not
about,
it?
and no,
Okay.
that was
Got it, okay.
in 1999.
That would have been the next year, right?
Oh, they did mention that other dance though.
They did,
Because
yeah.
I guess it never came out, the whole Brandon lie, because in the beginning, Belle had a crush on Brandon,
Hmm.
and she had it in her head that she was going to date him and bring him to the dance, and he was like, I am like 12 years older than you, like, no.
No.
But she had already told everybody that she has like this secret older guy that she's bringing to the dance, and so everybody was like, who's Belle going to bring to the dance? That was part of her argument to get Chloe to say yes. She was because she told him how like Philip stepped up and said that he was her date. And see, he has a nice heart, and look what he did for me. But Chloe has Philip's number because she's like, I'm sure there was some alternative reasons why he did that.
Yeah,
And there was, because that was when he was into gambling.
Yeah.
So Chloe like hit it on the nose. Like she
Mhm.
knows Philip for who he is.
She knows.
All right. Thank you for joining us for another edition of The Last Blast. If you're watching this, you probably noticed we have our Venmo listed at the bottom. So if you're feeling generous and you want to donate, that would really help us out with our subscriptions at Queers and Soaps. And as always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.